Hey guys, I appreciate all the comments and all the views. That was wow. Got back on the Camaro and the views went crazy. So thanks, that's awesome. And for all the help, because I had so many good ideas. And so what I ended up deciding to do was go ahead and put the other side on. And so let me go through this again real quick, because some of you are new to the channel. Some of you don't know how many times this car's been together and apart. Don't know that it's been pinned in multiple places because it fit right to begin with. So I've got pins that locate all through it. Pins up here for the quarter panel. Nothing is welded, okay? So basically right now I have two bolts holding. There's a bolt there, there's a bolt over there. You pull those out, that whole thing will drop, because I slide a bar in here and I can lift this whole top up because of this bolt, that bolt, and those two bolts. Those four bolts are holding the whole upper skeleton frame of this car onto the whole floor, okay? And nothing is welded. Floor's not welded. You can see over there, I've got a mark for welds. The only thing that is welded is the inner rocker here to the outer rocker here. And what I do is break this loose, drop that down and pull it back, and it just slides out completely. And this whole thing comes completely apart into however many pieces it is. So nothing is welded. And so everything is changeable at this point. That's why I did it the way I did it, because I'm like, okay, final time I put it together, fits good, great. If it doesn't, then I got to start tweaking, because I didn't have everything pulled. Like I've got these straps pulling this back, pulling the floor, the rear torque boxes onto the frame itself. So right here, this is my frame extension for my, hopefully I'm holding that right. For my subframe connectors, everything's pulled back. The whole floor has gotten pulled back that direction. Okay. So what else? Yeah, so literally the only thing that's been welded, pre-welded together is those inner and outer rocker. And it pulls right out. Both of them pull right out. This whole thing comes apart. Even these are not, because when I took the car apart, these fell off. Like they literally, the welds broke loose or whatever, and they just fell off. So I relocated them, put the pins back in. So I've got these little pins that, I call them pins or bolts, with a nut on the back side. So I can take them in and out as many times I need to, not have to worry about, I've told you this guys 1,000 times, but anyway, about putting in a tech screw. You put it in 10 times, it's gonna start stripping the hole out. So usually guys do it when they're doing their final thing to suck everything together. But I knew this car was wrecked, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to take this apart, put it back together, take it apart, put it back together, and really figure out what's going on with it. So put this side on, got the inner, everything's on, okay? It fits really nice. This fits really nice, spot on, that's good. So when I slide these in, I slid this into where I've got, what I was saying for some of you guys, this little seam right here is what I go off of. So this seam, I figured, doesn't change. Okay, this will. So this has to come in, and it's approximately 4 inches to this edge. And so push it in. I've actually popped little spots, okay, to find the center of that, so I get it right back where I want every time, right back in the same spot. Got all this set up to where it's ready to weld. And so, saying what I said yesterday, this is why I do it the way I did. So, same thing on this side, 4 inches to here. Now you can see the door is dead nuts. I mean, it's right there. Okay, so have people say, well, just slide your door back. Well, the thing is you want your door to line up with this. So, and that also doesn't fix the quarter panel needing to come forward. So when I had one guy was like, forget centering the door. Well, you need to understand that's probably one of the most important things. And it's not centering it this way. That may be what you're thinking. It's centering it up and down to find that gap, to make that gap perfect all the way down. So that's my understanding. That's imperative to find center that door. That's why I said that. I really do think whoever you are, you're thinking I'm just talking about centering it back and forth. That is not the case. You got to tweak it up and down, find the center of that. That's what I said. You watch Juby's, I think it's his Tech Talk 45. He talks about how to do that, which helped me tremendously because I had no reference point because everything had been hit. The floor had been buckled all the way up into the middle of the back seat. Probably smashed this thing down and then it got T-boned on the other side. So I kept thinking that's why I'm having problems with these rockers or the quarters, because it probably got hit. That's why I changed the floor. I changed everything. So everything in this car, except the doors and front fenders and that frame up here, is new. And so I've had it together. It fits great, pops right back in the pins every time, everything lined up. Here's the thing that and this may be my fault. We're gonna see, because I'm gonna put this side back on. But so I had the door on the other side, ran that laser down it, and in my thinking, okay, that line, the body line from the front fender all the way down the door, all the way here, and all the way back should just be dead nuts straight. That's what you want. So like when the shadows hit it, you can tell that car is freaking just amazingly straight. Well, I could be wrong on this. That fender is fairly flat. This one's fairly flat. This one's fairly flat, but it actually starts kicking out this direction. And then this one kicks back that direction. So I may be kind of shooting myself in the foot trying to get that laser perfectly straight like that, or the laser to get the body lines perfectly straight, because that may not be the case because it's convex. I think that's what it is. So yeah, those fenders kick out and then kick back in. So if you're shooting that laser straight across the side like that, it may be hitting in one spot, and then in the back, it may be high or low, which was low, and that's why I kept pushing the back end of the quarters up. I may be wrong on that. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna put the other side back on. But yeah, this side's fitting good. I haven't put the door on, obviously. Everything's locked in and good to go. This is sitting in there right where it needs to be. Everything's nice and this fits nice. Everything's always fit nice. This thing, I've made this to fit that. So, all this back here, gaps and everything, it's not even pulled together. It needs to be pulled together more. So when I took this off, Juby calls it over braking. I never overbroke any of this stuff, so it makes perfect sense what he said. So you overbreak these flanges because you don't want them to be V'd out and have this big gap and tight in the back. So you over break them, then when you clamp them, it'll clamp this really tight. So did that. So that's new for this side. Haven't done it on that one, getting ready to do it. Just gonna overbreak everything. I went back in here, overbroke this thing. Like I said, I think this is gonna fit pretty good. Everything looks to be good. This down here is really nice and straight, nice and tight. This is sitting where it's supposed to sit. I'm really happy with that. Now, if I go to putting the monkey on a stick on there and jacking this up, it may start popping things loose and doing other weird things. And that's why I'm thinking maybe I'm not thinking correctly on that line needing to be perfectly straight, because it's not a perfectly flat surface. You know, if I was doing up against my door, it's one thing, but when it's like that, that may be my issue. So I kind of need to think about that. Tell me what you guys think about that. I think that's probably what the case is. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna go ahead and get the outer wheel well back on and get that quarter panel fitted back up. get it locked in and everything, and then check my door gap again, check that, because it's going to change things. When I put this outer in here, it's going to make it to where that thing probably don't want to fit at all. So either that or it'll be forced over and it'll screw up the gap that I had that was perfectly too big. All right, so that's it, and I'll bring you back. All right, I got my GoPro on, so hopefully this is going to do what I need it to do. So you can see I got pretty much the car back together. I didn't put the other door on yet, but I took you through that earlier, and everything was fitting over there. So I'll put that door back on probably tomorrow. It's getting late now, but all right. And let me slow down a little bit too, because I jerk around a lot with this GoPro on. So you can see yeah, you can see here, all my gaps are tight. Okay, everything's lined up. This right here, even, look at that. That's freaking awesome. All right, hopefully you caught that. Same over here. Whoops. Good catch. Same over here. Gaps are tight, lines are lined up, and again, hopefully you can see that. So, good, okay? This is just sitting on there with tape, obviously. Not too bad here. It's tight up here, and so that's a little too tight probably. And then it comes around here, and but it's consistent, very consistent, and that'll have to be pulled up. There's no rubber or anything in that. These tight pins. Again, everything's pinned together again. The one thing I didn't do is I didn't pull that way up in the air trying to get it level. So I'll be interested to see how far off it is now that everything's back together. So this problem gone. But when I lift that rear end back up to get this line perfectly level, it kicks it back. So that may be my issue. Door gap, better. This is way better. And then it gets tight down here. So for me, but the lines here are still lining up, lines there are lining up. But for me, I still would like to have this spin just a tad more. And I've actually got room, and I pulled that in really good. I may be able to beat this back just a little bit more. Let me grab, I don't know if I have any more of those clamps that I can put in there. I think I used them all. Yeah, I have a bunch of them, and oh, there's a pair. So I don't think that's going to help much because I've got this cranked in. Loosen that up and see. I can kind of, I don't think anything's going to shift because I've got this all locked down good. But maybe that'll get me, I really didn't move at all, so maybe that'll get me a little bit more. So yeah, see how this looks? It's really same shape. Wouldn't have to cut any of this until I get, well, unless I'm going to close it up. I have to cut down here if I do this. Like I said, this is kicked up just a little bit. This is the gap here is a little bit, so it's tight here, and it still needs to roll down. And if that rolls down, that'll fix my problem up there. You can see I've got all my pins in here, down here, got the striker in, close all the way. There it goes. So yeah, everything, all the panels look pretty good. This needs to be worked a little bit, but that's later. So I put the monkey on a stick back there, tried to push that up. It's just not quite getting it, so I don't know, I may keep working on that, but I'm gonna put my other door on tomorrow and see how that side is lining up. All this looks fantastic. You know, this is just beautiful, really. And you can see I've got everything in here. That one, this one's dang near perfect. Like, hopefully I'm showing you that. But like that line that's how it needs to be. So I'm curious if when I put that door on, that makes it actually lines up like it's supposed to. That just needs to be pulled in and clamped. And you see I've got all everything in. All this stuff lined up like I wanted it. So other than just needing to go that way a little bit more, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's get my laser and see what the line looks like now, because everything is fitting. Like, I couldn't ask for it really to fit any better than what it does now. And that's why I pinned it before, because it fit like this before. Actually, it fits a little better now that I overbroke everything. It actually tightened everything up, which is great. All right. So this thing's not set up. Probably have to go. There it is. That's pretty close. Pretty close. Now let me level this out. There's my fluffy dog. He's a golden doodle. He's a mess is what he is. But he's so fluffy. All right. That actually is pretty close. It looks like to me, let me go shut a light off. Yeah, that might work. So, let's look. Yeah, so this line is close here, but then it drops. And so I'm gonna guess back here. Yeah, see, it's an inch. It's literally an inch lower. That line is coming up here versus my tape line. So I just gotta wonder. I mean, I could come up a little bit, like I said, if I go a little bit further that way, and I may have to cut some of that back to get that to happen, like this area here we were talking about, or maybe even bend that back a little bit more. It looks like that probably needs to come down just a tad, but for the most part it looks pretty good. And right here it's lining up good, but you can see right through here, there's it starts to get bigger as it goes out. So that, if I can get that forward, I'll probably have a small gap like that up here. So that's probably going to be what I have to focus on for however long till I figure it out. So yeah, let me know if you think I need to cut this back. This is not touching right now, but I don't know. It's one of those deals, you may take it off a couple more times and it may fit perfectly. I don't know. But this is why I did what I did and made that video last night, because I was like, man, this thing's dropping and it needs to go forward. And if it goes forward, then it's going to have this perfect line, which it did on the laser. But then I got to thinking, well, that is a convex shape. Will that laser put down a perfectly straight line on a convex shape. That's kind of messing with my mind right now. I don't think it does. So, and that comes out as well. So maybe this laser is just kind of throwing me off. Maybe it's too much for a car that's got round edges. Round contours. So yeah, my rockers all look good. Everything's fitting better now that I put everything back in. I did tweak a lot of stuff, just over braking things and lifting up and cranking in and all the stuff. So that's helped. But I just need to make sure before I weld the floor and everything together to the trunk pans and all that stuff in the upper frame to the bottom of the frame, that this thing doesn't need to go up, separate and go up higher, which all this stuff is money. I mean, this is all good. Doesn't mean the whole thing can't be lifted up and still be all good. But I guess the telltale will be this gap here. And like I said, I'll have to do that tomorrow. But all right, I don't want to make this video too long. And you can see I did this a long time ago with the tape. I went down the whole car, stretched it out, and just followed that body line the best I could, trying to keep it straight as possible. But again, when you come across here, it comes out at this angle and then it comes back in at this angle. So it's a little tricky to just get a straight, perfectly straight line with a piece of tape like that. So that's why I thought, well, that laser may be a good way to do that, but now I'm kind of second guessing that. So yeah, I mean, there it is. And the fenders are going to fit fine. I've already fitted them before. I can get them down and fit them tomorrow, but they're going to be fine. They just are, because I've done it before. I've had the car together, and when it fit together like this, those fenders fit just fine. So it's really like it's probably needs to be outside of this quarter panel, needing to kind of come in this way, and maybe that one too, I don't know, but we'll see. Yeah, that's it. I really love this car. I love the way it's fitting together, and I love the fact that I can completely blow it apart and then put it back together in, 3 or 4 hours. That's just awesome to me. And I mean literally every piece of it, because I pinned it. But I was thinking, man, maybe I pinned it wrong the first time because the back is dropped or whatever. But I don't know. It'll make a little bit of a difference, but I just don't see it making a whole lot of difference. Moving that just maybe an eighth closer in at the top or whatever. Let's see what I got back here. I don't have a door to compare it to, but let's see what we got. Dog, you trying to get in the picture? All right, what's going on here? No better go dead. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, it's not very bright. I've been using the crap out of it though. Let me see. So it looks like, oh, I better get it centered. The floor, my floor is not, it's cracked and not very level, so I gotta do this each time with these bubbles. All right, so there's that. And that's pretty good. That's not too bad. And that is level, right. And yeah, it's the same in the back as the other side. It's doing the same thing. So if any of you guys can check your Camaro and say, hey, that's normal, that would be freaking awesome. Because I mean, if your body line is perfectly straight all the way down, then I've got some issues. And if I do have issues, it's like, what are they? Because everything fits together so well. Other than maybe the whole body needs to go up higher. But if it does, then that's going to throw the front off. So yeah, I think I may be overthinking this, and I tend to do that always. That this laser is supposed to be following that tape line all the way across. So if you can, let me know if your body line does the same thing, but I've measured. That's another thing I was going to do, and I'm going to end up making this video longer than I initially intended. So I go from right here on this deal, so I got 34.5 to the top of that tape line. No shortage of chairs, I like to sit. And then 34 and 5/8 on this side. So we're talking about 1/8 of an inch higher on this side. And that may be the deal. If I go up 1/8 of an inch over there in the back, and I've got the monkey on a stick, so I could do that. Just don't know what else I think I'll take all those braces loose, everything inside, loosen all this stuff up with it together, and then just put that monkey on a stick under here and lift it up to where it's 34 and 5/8 on this side, and then lock everything back down and see if that doesn't fix that. If it does, I'm ready to blow this thing apart, start getting it ready for weld. It's already a lot ready, but I still got to go back behind all this stuff and grind where the holes are for the welds. Got to grind it to bare metal and all that stuff.